Hey everyone, welcome back to the Micro Lab. I'm your host Will. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. My previous videos have been a little bit of microbiology, but now we're going to try some macrobiology. I've been a little interested with hydroponics recently, and I've been researching and finding some really simple and lazy man ways of creating a little hydroponic garden outside. And so in these sort of series of videos, I'm going to try to explain my setup process, what I've been doing to set it up outside, as well as to get hopefully harvest later in the season. So with that, I decided to try to grow some hot peppers here, some tomatoes, as well as some cucumbers, some green beans, hopefully those will work out, and some big sweet peppers here. I'm going to first walk you through how I set up the sort of sprouting bucket, and then I'm going to walk you through how I set it up outside once the sprouts are nice and big. With all of this, again, I'll walk you through sort of what I've bought for each one of these things. It's very simple, and I'll explain at the very end of the video this sort of method of hydroponic growing. So for this sprouting chamber here, it is really simple to set up. I just have this, I don't know, about a gallon tub, and I keep about 1/4 inch of water in the bottom. What you do is you soak these are rock wools. You can get them on Amazon or maybe even at your hardware store. They're sort of a spun ceramic material, almost like cotton candy, but made out of ceramic. What you do is you soak these in some sort of glass of water or something to get them nice and moist. And then what I did was I put around 2 to 3 seeds inside of them. There's a little tiny hole there. You just kind of poke them in and push them deep inside of the moist rock wool. And I put them inside of this sort of a sprouting chamber here. And so again, I keep about 1/4 inch of water on the bottom. And that's really about it. There's no other things you do. You basically just set them in here. The water on the bottom will keep them naturally moist, and then you should hopefully see your seed sprouting over the course of some amount of time. Give it a week or 14 days, whatever your seed germination should be. And so now we're outside looking at these successful sprouts. What you see here are 3 tomato sprouts per one of these cubes. You're going to want to try to have only 1 successful plant per cube later when you actually put it in your grow tote. You can also see here one of my cucumbers has developed a really nice sprout over to the right here, but sadly we're going to have to cull the numbers of our tomato plants.
Really what you want it to look like?
Yeah. Next, you're going to want to try to clean your totes that you might have purchased. Right here I have just a 4-to-1 solution of bleach. 10% bleach I'm sure would be fine as well. You're just going to want to coat the inside of the lid and as well as all the inside compartments where the water or the roots may be touching. This is to minimize fungal growth and fungal contamination that could kill your plants. Next, I just took my hose and just gave everything a nice good spray to wash away all the bleach. As you'd imagine, plants wouldn't love growing in bleach. So I just gave everything a nice spray down and dumped it into the grass nearby. Next comes setting up your grow totes. What I have here is a 30-gallon, pretty cheap, I think I bought these at Lowe's or something. I found out that I have to put bungee cords on them because when they're really full of water, they begin to bow out and the lid doesn't stay on. So I went ahead and attached some bungee cords. Next came filling it with water. I sort of pre-measured everything out such that I need 26 gallons of water. With your grow tote full of water, now we have to add the nutrients. Right now I have magnesium sulfate, a 4-18-38 master blend tomato fertilizer, as well as calcium nitrate. These 3 form the most major nutrients the plant will need over its growth cycle. My recipe is 2 grams per gallon of the master blend tomato mix, 2 grams per gallon of calcium nitrate, and 1 gram per gallon of the magnesium chloride. Like I said, whenever you set up grow totes, be it of all sorts of different sizes, it's best that you pre-measure how much water is appropriate for your grow tote in order to measure the precise amount of nutrients. In this case, I'm just using a food scale. Any scale would work as long as it can measure pretty accurately in grams. Next, you're going to want to simply pour your nutrients into your tote buckets full of water. In this case, I've pre-drilled holes where my net cups will sit. These holes in particular are 3 inches in diameter. Now that you have all the nutrients in your tote set up, you'll just take your net cup, slide it into the hole, put your plant sprouts in the rock wool, and have the water level such that it's around 1/4 to 1/2 inch covering the rock wool to keep it moist at this stage. Next, I'd like to explain to you the Kratky method, or I like to call it the lazy man's method of hydroponic growing, because it really is the most simple growing technique that home gardeners sort of use. It's really simple and it doesn't take any more work other than really setting it up on day one and maybe adding water and nutrients other days as well. But when you set it up on day one, once you add all the water, all that agitation from the hose and everything dissolves a ton of oxygen into the water. The plants primarily uptake oxygen through their roots. So in this diagram here, see that the water level is really high and the roots don't have to extend too far into the water. They have a ton of oxygen at this stage, so it's really healthy for them to uptake this water and oxygen to use for their own energy derivation as well as to grow, of course. Over some amount of time, the plants will of course use the water will transpire off the plants, the water will evaporate. You imagine that the oxygen level in the water has greatly reduced. Well, now the roots from the plant have successfully followed and chased the water down as it's been receding. And now we have a large airspace between the water and the top of the grow tote there. This space now is allowed to fill with just air from the atmosphere. They then use that air pocket in the grow tote to absorb all the oxygen that that might need. Again, this is the lazy man method because there is no use of a oxygen bubbler or an air bubbler. Literally, you just wait for the water to recede and the plants will get enough air to them as they would ever want. That's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this video will be the first of many in a series, hopefully documenting how successful this hydroponic growing strategy is. If you see something that I'm doing right or wrong, feel free to drop a comment. I'm certainly no master at this, as we all are watching YouTube videos. I'm just adapting certain strategies to my own liking and sort of my work ethic, how much I want to actually do. If you enjoy watching, please subscribe, and that's really all for now. Thank you guys so much.